to Tales from the Schiz, where I tell you a story about my life with schizoaffective disorder and sometimes make you laugh in the process. But don't romanticize it, it still sucks a lot. Anyways, today's story is something I did while in Mania. We're talking full-on life-ruining, self-destructive, and disruptive mania that landed me all the way in Japan in 2018, which is where this story takes place. So what you need to know is that while I was in Japan, the majority of it was spent in a place called Nagoya. It's an hour and a half or so by bullet train from Tokyo, and it's known for being one of the bigger car production areas of the entire country. And my brother was an avid car fan. So once he learned I was going to Nagoya, he asked me to bring him back an exclusive, only available in Japan steering wheel. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's asking a lot. And then at the same time, I'm manic. So I'm thinking, man, this sounds like a great time. This sounds like a great idea. I totally want to do this. And so I tell my brother, sounds fantastic. I'm in. And that was the beginning. So fast forward, I'm all the way in Japan. I'm having the time of my life, and the day comes where I plan on doing this adventure, and I'm excited for it. It's raining a bit, but I had my umbrella and energy to carry me through. So I throw my address into the GPS, and I hop on the train. He wanted me to go to a store called Up Garage. They're known primarily for selling secondhand car parts, like exclusive steering wheels. People come from all over the world to go to these places, and I guess by default I fell into that category. And while some Up Garages are in bigger cities like Tokyo, the one I was headed to was kind of in the middle of nowhere. But I did not think about any of this and continue on my path. And the farther we get away from the city center of Nagoya, the less and less people there are on the train. And those that remain start to really stare at me. And keep in mind, this place is like half an hour or so away from my hostel, so it's a little bit out there. And I did know that, but I didn't care. What I see out the window, though, isn't really buildings anymore so much as car lot after car lot after car lot, with less and less people walking around until there's basically no one. And it dawns on me that I am very, very far away from home, far away from the city, and I'm basically on my own out here. Which should have probably been a little bit scary, especially given I only knew 2 phrases in Japanese for this entire trip. But the thing is, I was manic, so again, I didn't care. So I end up getting off the train and walking through the rain a bit. And it's really industrial and quite sparse. And to my surprise, I actually find the dang place and I'm like, yes, self 5. So I get to the place and I triumphantly walk through the door. And everyone behind the counter immediately turns to look at the white American girl who is very far from where she should be. I look at them and I say, English? The people behind the counter immediately shake their heads. And I'm like, crap, but understandable. I'm definitely not entitled to have everyone speak my language when I'm the one who's visiting the country. So instead of dwelling, I think fast and whip out my debit card and then point at it silently with a hopeful smile on my face. I even raise my eyebrows for dramatic effect. And the people behind the counter nod their heads and smile back. And I'm like, yes, I am set. I am in. So I find the aisle where all of the wheels are, and I start sending my brother pictures of the wheels that are available. And after quite the global text exchange, my brother and I settle on not buying just 1, but 2 wheels because I'm crazy. And lucky for you guys, he's not using either of them right now, so I have both of them to show you. And what's wild to me is that I actually haven't had both of them like in my possession since I brought them back from Japan, so this is a very interesting experience for me. Kind of brings me back, but in a good way. So I'll start off by showing the one that he actually wanted me to get. Like, this was the Target wheel. And it's a Momo racing wheel. This thing is like suede on the outside. It feels super smooth to the touch. It's actually quite soft. I would frankly love to have this in my own car, but that's never gonna happen. But the blue variant of this, which you can see, this part's blue. I know I have blue lights, but this is still blue. It's only found in Japan. Like, it's only available in Japan. And apparently if you want to get it in the States, you can, but you have to pay like an arm and a leg for it. Like, apparently it's ridiculous. So of course, having me pick this up and then put it in my suitcase, it makes perfect sense. And actually it's relatively light, so it's not like it had a ton of weight to it. Yeah, this is the thing that actually hooks it into into my brother's car, and I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm not gonna mess with that too much. So, but yeah, this was it. This was the thing that he sent me on a wild goose chase for, and I was so glad that I was able to find it. And I'll be honest, even though it's not in my possession, like permanently, I'm a little attached, a little bit attached to it because of all the effort I had to go through to get it. So I'm really glad that he uses it all the dang time. So yeah, good old wheel it is. And the one that we kind of just threw on top last minute was a vintage Momo indie wheel. So another Momo wheel. You can tell my brother is a fan of Momo's products and whatnot, but this one's pretty cool because I like that it's like literally a wooden handle, wooden grip and whatnot. I think that's pretty cool. So this actually hangs on his wall, which, you know, looks kind of cool. Looks kind of dope. And oh, it still has like the tag on it. Yeah, look at that. You can see. Let's see if it'll focus. Oh yeah, there you go. Yep. It's got a little Japanese on it and everything. I love it. Yeah, so this one, I'm actually amazed he never took that off. That's wild. So, but yeah, this is just a fun little extra thing. So the two of them together, yeah, they kind of, I stacked them like that in the suitcase on the way back. Golly, I can't believe I did this. Looking back on it, I can't believe I did this. So yeah, this was my precious cargo that I imported myself all the way from Japan. And it was a interesting, defining moment in my life, one I will never forget. And I don't know, sometimes mania has you do really strange, interesting things, and sometimes they can be really bad. But for me, a lot of my manic experiences have been really good and really fun, and I haven't really gotten into too much trouble because of my manic decisions and whatnot. Yeah, which I might revise that statement later, but I think a lot of my manic decisions, like going to Japan, was a really fun time for me and I really enjoyed it. And other things I've done have also been fun because I generally have fun when I'm manic. So, but yeah, good old wheel. Aren't you wild? And so I went to the register after that with my wheels in tow, and I can tell you it's a very interesting experience to make a purchase without being able to speak the same language as the person behind the counter. I was able to communicate through facial expressions and a few choice words, and that's about it. But I secured the wheels, and that's what mattered. With them stowed away in a bag, I was able to make it safely back to Nagoya Central, where I shoved those wheels into my suitcase where they were protected all the way back to the States. And my brother was very happy when he received them. And like I said, he uses this one pretty regularly, which is actually kind of awesome. The only reason I have it now is that he has multiple cars and is going on vacation. And he actually cares about the content I create for you guys. And that's Tales from the Skits. I had a lot of fun retelling this story, and I hope you enjoyed it. What's the most manic or hypomanic thing you've ever done? Drop it in the comments because I'd love to hear your stories. And if you want more stories like this one, check out the Tales from the Skits playlist right over here. But other than that, thanks for joining me and making the uncomfortable comfortable. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.